told Darren the other day, I said I still can't get up the courage for oxtail, but
you should try. Yeah, he's gonna try oxtail.
All right, I'm here with Brian Johnson of On Broadway, and he's going to take me around the farmers market. So Brian, show me around.
Let's see what's cool. We're fortunate here in the greater Green Bay area. We have a lot of different types of markets. So no matter which day of the week or which style of market you're looking for, you have options, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And what we recognize with our farmers market is, well, certainly you have obviously really great flowers and beans and everything else, but it's an experience, and it's a really critically important social experience here in our community. To be greeted by live music, running into a lot of people you know, different types of businesses as well that really kind of lean in and emphasize the businesses that we have here in the core of our district. So 10 to 15,000 visitors come to the market every week. We have about 250,000 visitors a year.
That's
through a 19-week season.
Yeah.
We've oftentimes said we're the second largest market in the state, but I don't know who really measures that, but it's certainly up there in terms of its size, not only by the total number of vendors, but obviously by the number of visitors. The history of the market, we just celebrated the 20th anniversary a couple of years ago, and to see this event kind of grow the way that it has over the last 10 years in particular, and really providing opportunities for different entrepreneurs, business owners. A lot of our business owners have gotten their start here, where they, Voyager's Bakehouse, Aurora's Apothecary, a number of others that really start in the market. It's a low-cost way to test your product without the burden of significant overhead. And not only do you get to test that product, but you get to grow your customer base, you get to understand what works before you make that commitment into a brick and mortar. And a lot of folks will almost start as a cottage industry producer, where they might make product in a certified kitchen or at home, and then they bring it here and sell it, and it allows them to be able to grow that customer base before you make a much larger financial commitment. And we've seen a number of those businesses that just do really, really well in this type of environment, where they will always be a vendor. That's what they want to be. And then for those that want to take that leap, it creates a really great, almost incubator experience for them to do that.
So when places make that leap to a brick and mortar place, do they continue to stick with the market generally, or do they kind of let that go?
Yeah, most do, right? Because it's where they got their start. So they oftentimes build a following and a really strong customer base. So that's a really great sales opportunity. When you have this many consumers, and you're creating almost a front door to that, you want to continue to take advantage of that. That's where you're going to get the most sales per square foot, the most sales per hour, is in a situation like this. But Little Jamaica makes some really great Jamaican food. They have a location down on the southern end of Broadway. Really great outdoor patio. If you've never been there, you got to check it out. It's super cool. But this is an example of a business who has his brick and mortar, but then he uses events like this to help provide a bump in sales throughout the year, and it's becomes almost a marketing tool and a marketing mechanism for his brick and mortar space.
Thank you.
Awesome. So should we
Yeah, try it out.
Go ahead, grab a fork, Ryan, and then we'll. All right. Well, you know what? I'll go for the mac and cheese too.
Nice,
but
good choice. Yeah.
That's the best. Personally, that's the best.
Compliments to the chef. Who's the chef here? He gets credit for it, but do you guys do the work?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah.
The spice level.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's great.
I told Darren the other day, I said I still can't get up the courage for oxtail, but
you should try. Yeah, he's gonna try oxtail.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're doomed. Yeah. There we go.
It's like the best thing on the show. Want that? I want
Okay.
Without the bones, so it's easier to navigate.
Okay. Are you doing it with me? Are you
Sure.
Have you ever had oxtail?
I have not.
Okay. Dig in, man. Dig in.
Wait, what is?
It's literally an oxtail. Yeah.
Okay. You gotta help me out there. Get that off. There you go.
Okay.
Oh my God.
5 years,
I've
the
gotten
brown
that.
sugar and the oxtail is still the best thing.
Okay, this is like a disaster in the making with a white
Oh, I
shirt.
know, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. You guys ready?
That's real good.
Fantastic. You guys know how to do it right.
Right?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is fantastic.
Okay, all my fears have gone away now. Thank you.
Well, just don't get it nowhere else. 'Cause
Fair.
they come back.
So this is one of our awesome vendors. This is Melinda, and you guys have to get a smell of some of this stuff. So I was pleasantly fooled the first time I saw this product because I thought I was in for a treat, and it turns out these are candles and different soaps and lip glosses. In fact, I just bought some last week for my daughters who loved them. Melinda, thank you. You know, the thing when you try to build markets, you're really trying to create an experience for people, something that makes them want to come back. And a lot of that is no different than traditional retail. Consumer consistency, meaning that people want to know that when they come to an event, it will be going on. This is why a rain or shine market is so important for us. You know you're always going to be open. You're not trying to predict the weather. But it's also really important to the vendors as well, because if they're picking their product in the morning and you choose to cancel and it's just a little bit of rain, and now they're sitting on all this product and don't know what to do with it, right? So this is their storefront in a way, and so you have to respect that relationship. You know, we really try to curate a really strong balance of vendors, and I think that's sometimes one of those things that's easier said than done. As you can imagine, produce is really important. We're a farmer's market, and that's what's prioritized. We also think about processed foods, so your honeys, your jams, salsas, foods that are processed or produced in a kitchen and resold here. Arts and crafts, I think, forever have always been an important piece of farmers markets everywhere you go, and so we do allow some of those. But at the end of the day, everything's kind of handmade, hand created, and that's what's really important about it. So you can't be a reseller of product. We really lean in a little bit on the prepared food, because it is that piece where people want to come here and they want to get something to eat while they're here and have that experience. So we have some amazing food trucks that have started here over the years and have gone on to open their own storefronts. But then ultimately, at the end of the day, we are the Broadway district. And so this event was created to really help support the businesses in our district. Yep. So we do give priority preference to a lot of our businesses that want to have a presence here in the market, while recognizing you need this balance of other outside vendors, so that it kind of has a good combination and feel. I mean, we have certain percentages we shoot for in all those buckets, and we're double the state average in terms of the number of fresh produce or processed foods in our market. So we're really proud of that fact, because this is a USDA designated food desert. So it does create a critical source of food and product during the market season for those folks that live in the neighborhood.
So it's good for the community. It's good for the vendors. What does it mean for On Broadway? What does it bring you all?
Well, our mission is multifaceted, but one of the things that we really talk about is district activation. When a district feels alive and it's busy, when you have a lot of eyeballs in the street and it feels safe, you are more inclined to not only come here during the event, but when the event's not going on. Because you've come to the market, you've experienced the space, you've hopefully have patronized one of the many businesses that we have here along the street. And even if you don't patronize them during that day, that you might come back another day. And we hear that a lot from customers that come to our events, where maybe they don't buy the bike that day, but they come back on Saturday, right, and take a look and make their purchase then. So it's really about activating the district and making this feel like the exciting place that it is. So that way it builds that brand reputation where you want to keep coming back. For us as an organization, that's a key part of our mission, but this event in particular is a really important source of revenue for us that helps execute our mission throughout the year. So there's a number of ways, most predominantly through sponsorship, that we generate revenue for this event in particular. But when we can generate net income on this event, it allows us to do the work that we do 12 months a year, whether it's cleaning up the streetscape, planting flowers, helping our small businesses through direct consultations to get resources or to solve certain problems that they're trying to solve, making sure that we have as few vacant storefronts as possible. Now, these are all important pieces of our mission, and this event is what really helps fund that. The history of the farmers market, when it was really started 20 years ago, was a partnership between a number of folks that wanted to find an outlet for the Hmong community here in Green Bay. And we have a number of refugee settlements that occurred here shortly after the Vietnam War. A lot of Hmong families, and they turned to farming because that's what they knew. And unfortunately, at the time, there wasn't a really good, stable retail outlet for a lot of those vendors to sell their product. And so it was a number of folks that came together that partnered with On Broadway and said, hey, we want to create a small farmers market to really help our Hmong farmers here in the community. And what's really cool is 20 years later, this event has grown from 10 vendors to what you see today, which can be anywhere from 120, 150 vendors at a market. But the Hmong farmers are still a critical piece of who exists here today. And they provide a lot of the flowers and the fresh produce and vegetables that you'll find throughout the market.
Good. I think I'll take these. Yeah.
Let me get this ready for you. We'll put some water on it.
A lot of times these are really a lot of family businesses that work here, where the parents might have been the ones that started the business. And with the farmers market when it began, oftentimes non-English speakers, and you see that next generation starting to take over. And we work with a lot of the kids actually to help translate.
Right. Thank you so much.
When we're working with their parents in terms of setting up their booth and the products they're going to be selling. So this is our Mini Boss program. We started this a couple years ago in partnership with the Fort Howard Neighborhood Association, and we sort of recognized the opportunity to help cultivate the next generation of entrepreneurs. And for kids, it's really hard sometimes to have obviously a booth full of inventory like you might see at the normal market. Mm-hmm. And so we started this Mini Boss program where we essentially built the present, they call them lemonade stands, I guess. There's probably a technical term for them, but it's like, hey, if we build these and put these out every week and just make it available for kids. Mm-hmm. We'd like to prioritize some of the kids in the neighborhood in particular. This is a low-income census tract, so to create that opportunity for some of our kids in the area is really important to us. It's part of that acknowledgement and recognition that these kids are the next generation of business owners that could be in the farmers market. So it's incumbent upon us to help them succeed, and part of that is to experience the full cycle. So we really want them to come into the market to sell their product, to teach them how to reinvest that money into inventory or advertising. Might be building a new outlet. We have one that sells spices, and she used some of the proceeds from this event to actually build out an online website presence. And now she's selling her spices online, which I think is so cool. Obviously, some really great food businesses up and down the way here, whether you're looking for fresh squeezed lemonade, you get your typical burger and fries. That's obviously very distinct, I think. Not distinct, but something that is certainly ingrained in our culture here. But, and I've heard many folks say this by far and away, it's probably one of Green Bay's most diverse events. So when you really take a look around you in terms of the people that come to the market, the vendors and who benefits from the market, but the types of food that are offered here, everything from different Asian cuisine to Jamaican food. There's something here for everybody, and we really try to make sure that we're curating our vendors in such a way that it, opens up those experiences for everybody who lives here. Green Bay is one of those cities that's kind of like on this cusp, right? Where historically we've been mostly European or white, and those demographics are shifting quickly. Yet sometimes events and businesses don't always keep pace with that change. And this event, to me, is really at the forefront of making sure that everybody in our community feels welcome, that there are products, that align with their respective cultures, but it also gives folks like me and you, an opportunity to experience different types of cultures, whether you're sampling the food or some of the other products that they might sell or distribute.